Okay, so I've let the top dry for quite a bit now. The bead, the joints on. One thing I'll tell you that I do, when I shim them up and I glue up the top, I put a piece of tape on, like, say, the positive lead, and then what I also do is I mark it on the positive push terminal. That when I shim it right back into the same place. You don't have to do that, but it's just little things like that that I've always done. That way, that's the way it was sitting when I glued it up. So, as you can see, like I said, I sand these because you get glue that when you clamp them together and stuff, like the glue will come through the bottom. And I always sand the bottom to make sure there's no ridges in it, no lifted up spots, like where the glue seep through and heavily. And plus, it gives you something better to bite to, for the glue to wick into, like I said before. So what I'm going to do now, and then as you can see, the glue, seep through very little from the upper joint down into the bottom. So we're just going to do the bottom now. What I'm doing is I'm just gluing from the coil, like the former, to the first ridge there in that valley. Just, putting a good bit of glue in it there. Not overkill, but just enough to have a strong, lower triple joint there. And with the top being glued already, the glue won't run back through. So, you can flood it up pretty good there. Then I just go around, make sure it's, good and even. Alright, so that looks pretty good to me. And then, like I said, I don't use very much accelerator because, it's airborne. Just remember, like I said, to put your cap back on your glue. And that's all I'll do. So what I'll do is I'll let this dry up. And at that point, I will re-shim the coil back in the gap and go ahead and test fit the cone and clamp it down. And that way, once it's glued in place, then the drop-in itself will essentially be, ready to install. But the glue joint on this bottom is plenty sufficient. It's got a good bead on it. And again, I'll probably come back and just apply an epoxy bead over it. I may not. It's pretty strong the way it is. So what I'll do is I'll let this one dry up, and while this one's drying, I'm going to go ahead and do the other one. And then I'll make the next video, doing the cone and so forth. So I'll see you on the next one.